Hey, John here from John's Do It Yourself. The other day I had a friend approach me and say, hey John, I want you to build my shadow box. I said, well, that's fine, what do you want? And he goes, well, I'm not really sure. I've got a lot of coins, I'd like to put some models in it. So I said, wait a minute, go to my site, check out some of my shadow boxes, take a look at them and tell me what you like. I can build anything you want. That's the whole purpose of having a custom designed shadow box built for you. So he went home, looked at my site, came back and said, yeah, I really like the ones with the coin racks, so we're going to go ahead and build the coin rack on this one. It's going to be a standard shaped shadow box, and we're going to incorporate the two flags. I'm going to slow this video down when we get to the point of building the shelves for his models. He actually put these models together himself, and these are models of ships that he has actually served on. So that's what we're going to incorporate into this box. The rest of it's kind of all standard. You've seen it before, and we'll slow down when it gets to the point of the ships. So let's get cutting. In my head, I thought 3 feet would be enough space for the flags, shelves, and coin racks. So that's your first cut. Your second cut will be the width of the box, and since I'm making this up as I go along, I'm going to make it 20 inches. The next steps will involve making the coin racks. I will repeat the same steps that I used previously in the following video. If you need slow, detailed instructions, visit my page and find this video. Remember, there will be no corners on this box, so you will need to cut slots for the portions of the box that will be horizontal. One addition to the coin rack is that I will place an extender to lower the rack so you can place coins on the last slot with plenty of room away from the crossbar. This is actually an improvement over the last box. I wanted to slow down here for a second, because up to this point your box is framed, your glass groove is cut, your coin racks are made, and your back plate groove is ready. So use a pair of clamps to hold your frame in place and double check that it is square. Then take your measurements and cut your back plate. With this box, I knew I would be building some type of shelves for the models, so I bought tempered hardboard. This stuff is great, and I knew it would have the strength that I needed for those shelves. While you're here, cut the foam board to fit. When it came to the flags and the shape of this box, I thought I could change it up a bit and place one flag up top and the other at the bottom. You can get away with this when you're making it up as you go along. Okay, now I was entering new waters. I had to figure out how to display the ships. My first drawing had the shelves go all the way across, but looking at the base of these ships, I thought a small standalone shelf would look much more professional. I just needed to ensure the stand would extend far enough out to allow the base support of the model to be firmly on the surface. The second thing was to ensure that this would not interfere or stick out too far and hit the glass once the back plate was set into the box. So my measurements here are to get a feel for how wide and long the shelves would be. Once I decided that each ship would have its own custom sized shelf, I simply took a washer and rounded the edges. Then I took the shelves to the bandsaw and cut the rounded edges from each front side of each shelf. Just cut the face of the shelves, not all the corners. This gives them a smooth and soft appearance and not just look like board thrown in the box. Now I want these shelves to be thin so they do not look large and distract from the objects that will be placed on them. So I cut each shelf perfectly in half. This actually gave me 4 pieces, 2 small and 2 long. I would only need 1 long for the center ship, and then cutting them in half would make the top and bottom shelves identical in size for the top and bottom ships. Yeah, funny how that worked out for me. Now going back to the display board, I can speed things up a bit here. I will cut it to fit just like I do in all my other builds, but you need your display board properly fitted before you figure out the exact positioning of your shelves. So let's take care of this first. I am not going to use any mathematical solution for placing my shelves in the box. I'm just going to lay them out and picture in my head what it would look like if the ships were on them. Give yourself enough space at the top of the box for the mast of the upper ship. Then picture the middle ship on the middle shelf so it doesn't look cramped under the top shelf. And finally, you don't want your bottom shelf to look too low or you will question why you need it to begin with. Now you can see my logic, right? Right, I'm not even sure I do. I then put all the pieces in place and clamp them into position to see how this looks. I am pretty pleased with the way things are progressing, so I pull everything back apart and take the pieces to the sanding table. After a 3-step process of sanding, yes, if you know it, 60, 120, and then 230, I stain. With the black felt background that I intend to use, I wanted to lighten the box up as much as possible, so I'm going to use the standard classic oak stain. This will keep the dark interior from making the box overall too dark. Now go back and clamp your box together. Place your shelves back in place. Now I am using a tape measure here, but this is to ensure that they are evenly spaced and level with the bottom of the box, not to measure any sort of distance. Remember, your position was found with the Mark I eyeball. Sorry, Navy joke. Once you have your shelves back in place, trace out the base of each shelf onto the display board. Then take your display board to the cutting bench and start cutting out your slots. Make sure you have a sharp blade and cut the slot completely out of the board. Keep your shelves close by and keep checking that you have cut enough, but make it a tight fit. Your display board in the end will help support your shelf along with the other methods that we're going to use. Now that your slots are cut, put your display board back in place and drill 2 small pilot holes in each slot all the way through your backboard. Each one should be about 1 inch away from the end of each slot. After your pilot holes are drilled, put your shelves back in place and flip your box upright. Now, take a mechanical pencil and stick it through the holes and make a small mark on each shelf. Take your shelves to the drill press, or hand drill will work here as well, and place a pilot hole in each shelf where you had marked them with the mechanical pencil. Now you can felt the display board. Same as always, so if you need to see this in detail, check out any of my other videos. While you are waiting on your felt to dry, you can start gluing your box together. Normally, you would leave a bottom or top unattached until you get your glass in, but with a slotted box, you need to leave a side open or you cannot slide in your glass due to the design of the slotted pieces. So choose just one side and glue it together. Don't forget your cheater pieces in each corner to ensure your glass grooves stay aligned while putting the box together. I use scrap pieces of plexiglass, but anything will do here. Certainly a square works great, and it also keeps your box square. This will save you a lot of pain in the long run if you find out your glass grooves are not aligned later when you go in to put in your glass. Now that your felt is dry, go back and cut slits in the felt for each slot. Don't cut away any of the felt, just cut a slit in it. The felt will make the shelf tighter and give it a great fit all the way around it. Take some wood glue and glue down the display board to the back plate. The only way you can screw this up is if you felted the wrong side of your display board, and I've been known to do that, which we hope you did not do. Stick in your shelves, flip the box up on its end, and with some wood screws, drill through your pilot holes to firmly secure your shelves to the backboard. Take your glass measurement, cut your glass, and slide it into place. Now you are ready to put the rest of the box together. You might have noticed, or you might have not, but while I was putting the box together, my wife came out and said that she did not like the flare at the top of the box. So while no one was looking, I cut it flush with the coin rack. I think that it does look a little more modern, but that's totally your call. Remember, this is your design now. Take mine and make it better. Now with the top being flush, I glued the box together. While waiting for the box to dry, I folded the Navy flag and put in my plexiglass to make it flat. With the shelves complete, I'd load them up with the ships that they were designed for. The owner of this box wanted specific shadows acquired with each ship to be placed on the same level with that ship, so I actually had a few guidelines to follow here, but other than that, it was at my own discretion. I think that's the fun part, putting the display together. I think that the most satisfying part of this is when your creation is presented to a member of the military that has devoted over 30 years of their life to this great country of ours. Not a very difficult shadow box to make, but a very worthwhile one. So Warrant Officer Upshur, fair winds and following seas. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.